Hello, and welcome to episode 167 of the Nintendo Fun Club podcast. This is a podcast about Nintendo and about fun. I'm Ryan, and with me, as always, is John.
Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning. Wow, that's quite the look you got going on there. If you are just listening to the podcast version. John is wearing I guess, Link hat with hair and sunglasses.
Yeah, no, it's just a pair of really cool sunglasses. They are
Okay.
just sunglasses, and they're my kids. Both set of kids, Both kids have a set of. I just had the one set of kids. Both kids have a set of these sunglasses. I thought they were pretty sweet. Actually, they look. I feel like. I mean, I don't want to be vain, but I feel like they look great on me too. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest,
Yeah.
It's they're well designed in terms of they really look like Link. Toon Link, but I thought I'd put them on, Ryan, because they're cool. I've taken them off now, but I also thought I'd put them on to tell you and listeners who might be interested that there's a lot of cool stuff like that at Toys R Us right now, which I believe is probably in its like last 2 weeks of existence in the United States. But yeah, we got those. We got some Link, a Toon Link plushie. Actually, two of them, a small one and then a larger one that's a birthday present kids don't know about. We got the Splatoon water guns.
Oh, nice. The Super Soakers.
Yes, yeah. And just like a lot of the World of Nintendo stuff. Big like Mario, World of Nintendo Mario and stuff like that. So anyway,
Nice.
yeah, the supply's getting a little thin now at this point at my Toys R Us, but there's a lot of cool Nintendo stuff on sharp clearance at Toys R Us right now. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's been a hot minute since we recorded. Our last recording was E3 predictions. And those combined with our visit from Nintenstradamus.
I think he might have read from the wrong book of Nintenstradamus this year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either that or the quatrains were misinterpreted or something. I'm not sure. But
yeah, I think he read from the wrong tome, and we read from the wrong websites because pretty much everything was wrong.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we're just going to catch up on not all. We're going to catch up on the relevant to us Nintendo related announcements from the C3. And, this is interesting because E3 was last week. We haven't recorded in like 3.5 weeks. But in that time since we last recorded, like it's been basically 3 weeks of leaks and proper announcements, and there's a lot. But I just included the stuff that like I felt was relevant to us. So let's just go ahead and get started with I think the one thing we actually were correct about when we gave it a significant amount of Romans on the past episode, and that was Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were officially announced for Nintendo Switch. They are coming November 16th, 2018. And this is the kind of crossover game, I guess, between Pokemon Go and the, proper Pokemon adventures. It takes place in the Kanto region. It's based on Pokemon Yellow, conceptually at least, and I think it seems pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it looks like fun. The what's the name of the contraption? The ball. I mean, it's a Pokeball, but Pokeball
Yeah.
Plus. Pokeball Plus, that's what it's called. The Pokeball Plus controller looks pretty cool too, like for kids and stuff. So I think that's fun. And I'm excited about the one Joy-Con 2-player mode as well. So I think that'll be fun for, families and stuff. And I think I'll use that here in my household. So yeah, I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, like that's really interesting, the co-op mode. I'm really curious to see how that works, and I'm especially curious to see like what it would be like if it was like, I don't know if there's any way to do it with like two people playing their own copy of the game, because like Lindsay and I are each going to, get the other version.
Yeah.
As we always do with Pokemon games. And I mean, usually there's like some kind of, trading between them. But I wonder if there will be like any co-op in that sense, or if it's just like we just hop over to each other's games.
I don't know. It would be good. Trading, I guess. I don't think like
Yeah.
the 2-player mode, like I don't think that's probably going to be a thing where you use multiple switches. It didn't seem that way, but I guess it wouldn't be probably that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because it's probably not really like this like persistent world type thing where, you could be over in some other area and she could be like, it's a one screen thing. So I don't know, maybe. Yeah. But yeah, there's a bundle, Pokeball Plus bundle. I don't know if you're interested in getting the Pokeball Plus or not, but it's pretty expensive. It's $50. But there is a bundle for $100 for the game and the Pokeball Plus, and I think with Gamers Club Unlocked, that's $80 total. So then that brings that Pokeball down to $30 or so, depending on how you look at it. So I'll probably do that for us.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I know Lindsay wants that version. I'm not as into the Pokeball Plus. I think I'll just play with standard Joy-Con, but
yeah. I mean, if it was just for me, I don't think. But
it's interesting though that it is using like motion controls for the capture mechanic, kind of, I guess, simulating like 1-to-1 the capture mechanic in Pokemon Go, which, I mean, hopefully it works well. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm a little bit bummed that like you can't really play it in like portable mode. You can't really play the game in portable mode because you need to have the Joy-Con detached from the Switch.
Is that like a stated, like they said that you can't play it in portable mode, or are you just assuming that? Because Nintendo seems to like in a situation like this, when there is motion control like that, I feel like a lot of times they'll put standard controls in there too, but just they don't ever say anything about it, especially like in the promotional period. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I didn't even really I didn't pay too close of attention to that. So I mean, maybe they did say that, and certainly possible, but it also just kind of seemed to me like the sort of thing where that's the mode they're going to show off, but like Mario Kart Wii, I don't know. I mean, I don't remember the trailers and stuff for that game and how they promoted it, but I have a feeling they mostly focused on the motion control, even though there was that other control option in there.
Yeah, I'm looking. There was a article on Nintendo Life that said Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee director explains why motion controls are mandatory. So
okay, well that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's interesting. But yeah, it's
actually really interesting for a Pokemon game too, like on the Switch, because it's sort of like it's your 3DS game and your Wii U game, if you want to look at it that way, but they're sort of like that almost like overemphasizes the console aspect of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, I guess you can play it like docked with the, holding the Joy-Con. I mean, it's not like too far removed from like playing Wii games.
No, I'm saying the opposite of that. Like,
Okay.
as a portable game, you can't really like
Mm.
because it's taking the place of a portable game because they're not putting out a 3DS version of this. You know what I mean? Like, this is the
Yeah.
only version of this game, and it's primarily in the past a handheld
Oh, okay. I
franchise.
see what you're saying.
And
Yeah.
you're not really able to. I mean, you can put it on a table. You can still play it portable in the sense that you can put it in tabletop mode,
Right.
like that. But like, how are you going to play this like on the bus or the train or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
seems like in commuter cities and commuter cultures and stuff, like that's probably a huge like people are probably playing Pokemon a lot on the go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is a weird choice. I never really thought about
that's
that
why people love the Switch is because you can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, and to be fair, this isn't like a 1-to-1 with like the, traditional 3DS games like your X and Y and Sun and Moon and stuff, because they did say next year there will be a traditional Pokemon game with new Pokemon in a new region, the Gen 8, essentially. So there will be like a proper sequel to the other games, but like this one is definitely, it's more of a spin-off, but at the same time, like this is a spin-off that's like different than like a Pokemon Snap or like something like that. Like this is a fully like a super fleshed out RPG, but it also just has these, motion.
It's kind of the new Super Mario, to the Mario Galaxy type thing or whatever, right? I mean, to a certain extent, because it's I guess that's not even because New Super Mario is in a lot of ways like the purest Mario kind of
Totally.
thing. Nah, yeah,
more of like the Hyrule Warriors to like Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Like it's like taking, it's like a very fleshed out game. It's not just like a short like mini game collection or something, but it's like mechanically very different. Like what I think I would like to have them do to solve the portable problem here, like they can have, like they can forsake normal controls for this project and for the catching, like they can forsake traditional controls. I'm okay with that. I would like in portable mode though, you should have the option to use the touchscreen to capture. Just make it exactly Pokemon Go with like sliding your fingers if they are trying to get that more like tactile experience for throwing the Pokeball, just so people can have that option to play in like public transport and stuff. Yeah. And I don't think that like defeats their mission statement with this.
I agree. Yeah.
So I would like to see that added in, but
well, you just got to get the Pokeball Plus. Then you can play it in on the bus, right?
How so?
Well, because you would use the Pokeball, like you just hold your Switch in one hand or, whatever, put your Switch in your lap. But then like to use motion controls, you're using the Pokeball Plus.
But that's the same thing, because don't you have to like pretend to throw the Pokeball Plus? Like, isn't that kind of the whole thing?
Well, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
I mean, and honestly, with the motion controls, like, again, like...
Actually, yeah, that's well, sorry. I just thought about it. I just realized, like, yeah, since you can play it with one Joy-Con, you just like take your right Joy-Con off if you're right-handed. You still just hold the Switch in your hand like you would, like, because like I feel like if you take both Joy-Con off of the Switch, it's weird to hold in your hand. But if there's a Joy-Con like over on the left side, in fact, I'm going to do it right now, Ryan. You just keep talking there, Full Sport. Okay. I'm gonna pull my Switch out and just kind of. I'm gonna do some.
I mean, that's
Pokemon
like holding a Switch in one hand feels not great.
I'm gonna tell you how it feels right now. I'm doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great.
It actually feels pretty
Especially,
good. Feels pretty.
I don't know.
Lapras. Uh,
I'm gonna catch
Charmander.
you.
Yeah, Charmander. No, it took me that long to think of another Pokemon.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
dude, this feels totally fine. I'm telling you, you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can play them.
I would not be comfortable riding on like a a bus, like hitting bumps and stuff with my Switch in one hand. Hot summer day, your hands are sweaty.
Well, and also I have to say too, now that I'm thinking about this, Ryan, I really am. Now that I'm thinking about it, you can play it in handheld mode without motion controls, except for when you go into I'm going to throw a Pokeball at a Pokemon mode, right? Like
That's
when
true.
you're catching a Pokemon, you slide this thing off
Mm-hmm.
for a minute, do the thing, slap
Yeah.
it back on there. It's actually, yeah, totally not. I agree that they should just put regular controls in there or touchscreen controls or something,
Mm-hmm.
but I think in practice it actually would not be that bad to just play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I mean, I guess like it will also depend, and this is something we haven't like talked about in like a decade. It will depend on how um how the motion controls are configured. There were, back in the Wii days, there were a lot of games that, required mandatory motion controls, but those also could be like activated with just like a slight flick of your wrist. And it didn't have to be like this giant motion, like you're throwing a
Yeah.
pitch at like a baseball game or something. Um, so it's possible that it could be like just a total non-issue,
Like
or
if
I mean,
you,
it's still an issue, but
but if you kick the
not as
sensitivity way up,
exaggerated. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's is the potential too that I see. I don't really like this idea. I think I'd rather just slide the Joy-Con off. But I think there's the potential too that you could leave the Joy-Con on there and just kind of go like that with your Switch. You know what I mean? And
Just flick it. Yeah.
especially if the sensitivity is high, if you can set the sensitivity high, like you said, like because I
Yeah.
play Splatoon with motion control, like while I'm holding the thing, I don't take the Joy-Con off to do motion control.
That's true.
So, but I don't really love the idea of like when I'm like, hey, Charmander, like I'd rather just have like my one hand,
Yeah.
because I'll always say, hey, Charmander, or whatever
Good.
when I'm,
Good.
yeah,
That's
right,
good.
right.
Yeah, but that said, like I think it will be fun to play this on your TV in docked mode with the Joy-Con detached and just like really leaning into the whole experience and being like a goof and throwing the Pokeballs and being Ash Ketchum.
Mm-hmm. I'll
I
wear
like
my
it.
hat. I can wear my Ash hat that I have. So.
Nice. I have an Ash cosplay outfit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'll do that. I'll dress up when this game comes out.
Okay,
And
let's
play
keep
it.
the podcast PG, but all right, like,
What? I wear it to like my school like Halloween and dress up stuff. It's a hit.
you wear your sexy Ash costume
It's
to
not
like
sexy.
oh, okay.
It's just regular Ash.
Oh.
It doesn't have like a tail.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, let's move on. Because this is Nintendo Fun Club podcast, we need to now talk about some Neo Geo games. And some good news from our friend over at Japanese Nintendo. A new batch of Neo Geo Archives games for Switch have been announced, which includes one that came out this week that I haven't bought yet, but I'm definitely planning on, especially now that World Cup fever is beginning. And that is Super Sidekicks 3, The Next Glory. It's the game, like, I haven't spent a ton of time with this franchise, but I do love like arcade style soccer games.
Yeah.
And 3 was the one, like I've played all 3. 3 was the one that clicked with me the most. I've seen arguments that people think other games in the series are better, but 3 is the one that I like, so I definitely want to pick this up. And then League Bowling, which I've never played, but I'm kind of excited. I really hope it's good because the idea of like a Neo Geo bowling game is really exciting to me. So I'm hoping that's good. I've never played that. The Super Spy, which is it's okay. I've played this in the arcade a few times. If it's the game I'm thinking of, there's like these like it's like first, it's like over the shoulder, like on rails kind of thing. There's also a ninja game that's very similar on Neo Geo. But then like the 2 that I'm really most excited for, Money Idol Exchanger, which is like a puzzle game that I've never played, but I've been hearing about since like, like I guess like the early 2000s probably. That it's just supposed to be this like really great, underappreciated puzzle game with like some really interesting mechanics and a really interesting spin on the genre. So I'm super excited for that to drop. And then also the one I'm the most excited for, because it's one of my favorite Neo Geo fighting games, if not my very favorite, The Last Blade 2, which is just an absolutely gorgeous 2D fighter on Neo Geo platforms, and it's mechanically like very different than something like Samurai Showdown or really any other Neo Geo fighter. So that's a super, super high quality, beautiful, mechanically interesting fighter coming. So all in all, it's like a really, really solid batch of kind of like under the radar Neo Geo games coming. We've got most of the big guns out of the way now. Like I think pretty much most of the King of Fighters games, most of the Metal Slug games are up there, but yeah, there's like, this is where we get into some of those like more obscure gems, or possibly not gems. I'm not sure, but I'm excited for the next few weeks of Neo Geo releases.
Yeah, I'm tempted to grab Super Sidekicks 3.
It's a lot of fun.
I get like, I bought that sci-fi baseball game when that came out. And for whatever, I'm not like a huge sports fan, but I do get really excited about like arcade sports games for some reason. And then also my it's Father's Day, so I feel like it's appropriate to keep talking about my kids. But my older son, Owen, well, both kids are playing soccer right now, but Owen's 8, almost 9. So it's like getting to the point where he's starting to understand like how different positions on the field work. And like, like I feel like playing a soccer game with him would actually probably be a good thing for him to sort of see like, because he doesn't watch soccer on TV or anything. So it's really being out there and kicking the ball around, but like to sort of see how, moving to certain positions or moving the ball around the field in a certain way is beneficial. Like, I feel like that'd be a good thing. Only issue is like, I feel like I'm gonna have to go back to college again to learn how to like not pair up a second controller, but like all the button combinations are different and like everything. Oh my God. It's so annoying to try to do. Like sometimes I'll play Samurai Showdown 2. I think it's Samurai Showdown 2. Yeah. With my friend from work, and like every time we're gonna do it, it's like, okay, now how do we get the second controllers like right, and like why are the buttons all different if you're player 2 than they are if you're player 1, and like it's just stupid. So anyway, so that actually, I'm not even being like hyperbolic or anything, like that actually does provide like a small amount of hesitation for me. Like, I'd want to play it 2-player, but playing it 2-player will be really frustrating every time. Like once you get going, it's fine. But like, figuring out that drives me crazy about these.
I know, like they're
arcade archives.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you play them so much that maybe it's like not an issue for you anymore, or maybe you don't play them 2-player very often, so it's not an issue. But like,
Yeah, I mean, my major syncing issue is when I use my 8-bit-do joystick,
Uh-huh.
which I feel like is just like it's a matter of like luck if it syncs immediately or if I have to like turn it off and turn it back on like 80 times
So
first.
I know I'm being patronizing a little bit here, or you might feel that way. And we've talked about it on the show before, but I don't remember what your answer was. But I remember
Uh-huh.
with I don't have the arcade stick. I just have the SF30 Pro. But like,
Mhm.
I remember that when I got it and was first using it with the Switch, like I would have trouble getting it connected and stuff too. And now that we'll talk about it maybe sometime, but I've been playing Bloodstained on the Switch and I've been using
Mhm.
that controller every time. And there's like a couple different ways you can get a controller to be recognized by the Switch. Like
Mhm.
you should be able to just turn it on and I think it'll like sync up right away and get it. But like anyway, long story short, like if I go to the find controllers thing or whatever it is, the option,
Mhm.
like everything desyncs. Like your Joy-Con desync if they're separated, like
Yep.
nothing's synced up at a more. If I do that first and then I turn on the controller, like it connects right away every single time. And maybe that's not the case with the arcade one, but like if you disconnect all other controllers and then turn on the 8-bit-do one, at least with the SF30 Pro, it always just goes right in. Versus if I try to do the other methods, it's like a crapshoot. Like, will it connect or not?
Mhm.
Is that what you're doing, or
Um, yeah, I think I've done that some of the times, but maybe that will be like my first go-to
yeah, try
uh
that because
in the
I
future.
yeah. And 8-bit-do, those controllers are great, but the instructions leave a lot to be desired in
Oh
terms
god.
of like connecting and stuff, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just spent about 40 minutes trying to get it connected to a Retro Pi the other day. That was fun. But
Oh, really?
then I did eventually, but it was
Nice.
yeah. So anyway,
Hmm. All right. So moving on, and we're still not to Nintendo's E3
yeah.
presentation proper, but we're getting closer. Limited run games had an E3 presentation. If you're not familiar with limited run, they do basically physical versions of um, games that were previously download only, and they usually do like a limited amount of them. So you basically have to like get in on the first batch of pre-orders um, to like get a physical copy of the game. But they've been they've done a ton of like PS4 and Vita games over the past couple years, and they've just recently started getting into Switch stuff. So they announced like their next batch of physical versions of Switch games, including Night Trap 25th Anniversary, Thumper, Ukulele, Golf Story with a Collector's Edition, and Layers of Fear Legacy. So those are games that are already out on the eShop, but they also announced some games for Switch. So these are games that were not previously announced for Switch, but are coming and are getting physical versions. And those are um, Dust, which I think I have that on Steam and I played a bit of it, and it's like this like gorgeous furry Metroidvania game that I really enjoyed when I played on Steam. And then Cosmic Star Heroine, which is like a kind of throwback to 16-bit RPGs. Little bit of there's a little bit of Fantasy Star inspiration in it, so that makes me pretty happy. So, uh, bunch of cool games, whether you're buying them on the eShop or, um, you know, springing for the physical editions.
Yeah.
More cool stuff.
Yeah, Golf Story is on sale right now, and I want to buy it, but then I'm also like, ooh, kind of want to wait for that version. But it's on sale for
Mm,
$10 right now, so I might get it and then just play it. And if I really love it, maybe I'll get the physical one too,
yeah.
or I don't know, we'll see. But the other thing of note here, interesting, is that it seems like I was just looking at the slime sand super slime edition on the website,
Oh
and
yeah.
it seems like what they're doing with these new batch of games, or at least some of them, is putting up a pre-order window, and then you can just get the game during that pre-order window. Versus like when I got Night Trap for PS4, I was like on that website like at 10 a.m. the moment it went live, so I could get the order in, because otherwise, like you said, you'd miss it. So it seems like rather than limiting it to a preset number of copies, at least with some of these, they're doing like a pre-order window, and that way they'll kind of print them on demand sort of thing. So that's cool. Takes some of the stress out of it.
Yeah. No, that will definitely be helpful. Let's see. I don't know. I sort of want to get Dust, because that's like, it's like I said, I played it on Steam. I never finished it, but like I remember really, really liking it. And I don't know. I already own Ukulele digitally, so like it feels a little weird to double dip. But I like that game. And Thumper I have on PS4 for like the PSVR stuff, but I really like that game. So I maybe want that. But I think Dust is one that I might get a physical copy of. I actually have 2 limited run games pre-ordered as of right now. I have Mercenary Kings and Flint Hook pre-ordered. I got when those went up. I'd heard really good things about both of those games, and they both seem kind of in my wheelhouse, so I pre-ordered those. So I have no idea when those are like actually shipping out, but those would be my first 2 limited run games. So yeah, I like what they do there. I'm not like super hardcore about like digital or physical stuff, but occasionally if it feels right, I'll go physical on a game.
Cool. Yeah. It's nice. Like when the option is there, it's nice. I feel like to have the physical one, but I mean, especially, well, we've talked about it a million times, and it doesn't really apply to the limited run games, but I feel like a lot of times I can actually save money by getting the physical ones. So that's part of mine. But then once you start doing that, you have a collection of games, and then it's like, oh, I could have Golf Story like on my shelf with my other collection of games, or I could have it just, and it's kind of like, that's nice, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always like, it feels like a crapshoot to like buy these limited run games, because you're like, I don't know if I'll like the game or whatever, but it's pretty much a safe bet to buy them, because even if you don't like the game, you can typically just sell the game online for like what you paid for it. Like these games, because they are limited, they don't really depreciate in value, I've noticed. And sometimes they go up in value. So like it's not like you buy it and then you're like, oh, I have this worthless thing because I don't like this game. Right. You can pretty much turn it around and sell it online for what you paid. So yeah. All right, so we're creeping closer to the Nintendo E3 event in our news here. And this was actually an announcement from the Microsoft press conference at E3. Tales of Vesperia is getting a definitive edition, and it is, in addition to coming to like Xbox and PS4, it's also coming to Switch. So this is an RPG in the Tales series. And I've only played like 3 Tales games ever, but this is one of them that I have played. And I really, really enjoyed this one. I played it on Xbox 360 and I liked it a ton. I think it has like some of the best characters, And like when this game came out on Xbox 360, like I was blown away by how good it looked, because it like really kind of just looked like an anime. um, but like, you know, like Tales of Symphonia on the GameCube was like really good looking and like super impressive. And then this game came out on 360 and I got it and just like loved it. So I'm excited for this to come to Switch. Hopefully it's like a good port and everything. Because yeah, more JRPGs on Switch. I want them there. And I'm glad to see, like, I'm not the hugest Tales fan in the world, but I do, occasionally enjoy a game in the series. So I'm, very happy to support this on Switch, and hopefully it will lead to more games in the series coming to Switch in the future.
Whoa.
All right.
What was that? A bird.
That was just a bird. Okay. I have my window open here because it's a nice crisp summer morning.
Oh, beautiful.
Also there are burbs. So
all
right. Next up from the Ubisoft conference, and I was meaning to like actually watch this because I didn't watch the actual Ubisoft conference. But did you see this when Miyamoto came out at the Ubi?
No, I saw like a clip of it on Twitter or something, but I didn't watch the Ubisoft. I mean, I watched the trailer for this game, but I didn't see like him out there really.
Okay, so I haven't even watched the trailer. This was on my to-do list. I never did it. So why don't you tell us about Starlink Battle for Atlas?
Well, I mean, it just looks like a flight combat game based on the trailer, because the trailer's, I guess it shows some gameplay. I mean, it's been like now, 4 or 5 days since I watched it, but it shows some gameplay and stuff, but it's a lot of like story type thing. And but I think like, see, I didn't get this from the trailer, but then I was listening to some other podcast. I can't remember which one, but they were talking about this game, and this is like one of those like toys to life games, right? Kind of,
yeah.
Like, which is why it comes with. I guess I could have watched, if I had watched the Ubisoft conference, probably would have made it more clear. But like, yeah, I was like, oh, it comes with a Star Fox amiibo, except it's not an amiibo. But that makes a lot more sense when you realize this is like a game that, features like a sort of toys to life type angle to it. So, no, I mean, it looked good. The other characters in the game seem pretty generic and like not that exciting or whatever. But it's, Star Fox looks great. And, yeah, I don't know that I really want to jump in on a game where I got to buy a bunch of toys and stuff to go along with it. I mean, it's a fun idea for kids, I think. And, but yeah, I don't know. Then again, I would assume if you just got the starter pack, you'd be fine if you didn't need to expand your ships and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It looks cool. It's not the Star Fox game I was hoping to see at E3, but it looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I will see how reviews go for it. I'm open to this. I do love space combat games, whether they're Star Wars or Star Fox. I love that genre of game, and it's like a super underrepresented genre these days. I don't know why this game has to be toys to life. Like, I don't really understand why like it needs to, you need to buy all this other stuff, but it's possible that I will buy like the Star Fox starter set, maybe. If the game turns out to be fun. Like, I think, the thing with these toys to life games are, whether it's Amiibo or Disney Infinity or, Lego Dimensions, whatever, like I need to make sure the toys I like the toy enough to put it on my shelf. I don't want it to be something where I, like get it and then like just throw it in a box somewhere when I'm not using it. Like that's kind of the point. That's why you're paying the premium price, is because you get this toy that you can like also put on your shelf. So if like the R-Wing looks good and the game is fun, then sure, I'll consider giving it a go if the timing is right. But yeah, again, not exactly the Star Fox game I was hoping for.
Yeah.
But you know, it's also like I do like the Nintendo and Ubisoft collaboration right now. You know, between this and Rabbids, and I mean even like Just Dance. I think it's a good partnership. And I hope it's, you know, this is all like leading to some like really cool exclusive stuff in the future.
Yeah.
But cool. So now Nintendo at E3. The Nintendo E3 Direct. So all right. The Direct started in the best way possible with a super obscure niche mech game, which made me very happy. Daemon Ex Machina is coming to Switch in 2019, and it has you know, it's a game created, it's a mech combat game, seems to be similar to like Virtual On / Armored Core, and it's, you know, created by some big names in that genre. The more I've seen about the game, I've seen more of like the customization and RPG elements, and it does seem to be more akin to something like an Armored Core, where you are like customizing the parts and everything on your mech, and you know, building that up and all that. So yeah, I mean, the game looks really stylish. It had a great art style. It's a weird way to start an E3 Direct, but I'm also very okay with it. It's a game that's definitely on my radar, and I'm extremely open to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's surprising that they put it in there because it doesn't seem like it'll be like a huge game or anything.
No.
And it's a 2019 game, and their whole thing is like, yeah, we don't have to show anything from 2019 because we're focused on 2018 games, except for the very first thing we'll show you is 2019 and
Yeah.
a niche game. Like it's just a weird, I don't know. But I do think, you know, like one of the things you want to have in a big direct like this is a variety of games. So it's cool to have something like this, which is pretty different from anything else in the direct. And yeah, very stylized. So I'm not usually a mech combat guy, like game guy, you know, like I guess by not usually, I mean, I've never played a game like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not exactly in my wheelhouse necessarily, but I'm not opposed to it either. And the fact that it's like really colorful and stylized and that sweet driving metal soundtrack to kick off the direct, like, yeah, left a good impression. That's for sure. So I like it.
Yeah. Cool. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna, the Golden Country, is like, well, I mean, it's kind of an expansion to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Like, it's a really, really full-featured DLC that appears to actually be getting a physical edition.
Right.
Yeah. For
so
like $40.
So yeah, you can buy the expansion physical, but that does not include the rest of the game, right? Like it's just it's like a standalone thing.
Yeah.
And how much is like this as DLC or whatever if you already have Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know if this is like something that's part of like the season pass, or if it's
yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Or if it's like just its own standalone thing. But I kind of fell off Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and then I stopped playing for like a couple months, and then when I went back to it, I was like, I have no idea how to play this game and what I'm supposed to be doing. So I haven't really revisited it. But I liked the game when I did play it. Um, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about diving back into it though. We'll see.
Yeah.
You know, what I would love is actually for like reviews for this to come out and be like, this is a smaller, you know, a smaller story. There's still a lot to do, but you can beat it in like 30 hours or so. And it's like its own complete experience, and it improves some of the mechanics, and it's like a better version or more refined version of the main game. Like that could actually get me on board. Because like I'm like 30 or 40 hours into the main game, and I know it's like 100-hour game, and like I'm probably never going to go back and finish it. But if they're like, this is, you know, something you can play through in 20 to 30 hours and it's really good, like, and standalone, like that, I don't know, that could actually sound really good.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the series, but it seems like it could be that because, you know, like if they're releasing it retail, a standalone, it's got to be playable without anything, you know, without playing the other part of it. You would assume it's smaller since it's $40 and, you know, whatever, like it's not as big of a game. So, I mean, right there, that right there is like kind of 2 items off your checklist. I guess I don't know how much like mechanics and stuff will be improved, but you know, even if it's just like a smaller version of that kind of game, like, man, they should do that all the time with games. Like,
I know,
games that are like giant, like, you know,
like they should come in like a college student version, and then like a working adult version, like for $40. Like,
right.
give me the, you know, $40 version of Fallout 4 that is 30 hours long, and I'd actually play that. Cool. Mew, it comes exclusive with every Pokeball Plus for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. That adds some temptation there.
Wait, what just happened? We were just talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and now
I was moving on. I just didn't segue.
Okay.
I'm just going.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I see. Mew comes exclusive with every Pokeball Plus. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. I'm going through.
If you buy the Pokeball Plus, you get Mew. Boom, you're good. Okay, got it. I got it. I didn't understand what that sentence meant. Now I get it.
Okay.
Now I understand the words. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So that's that. Mario Party, Super Mario Party coming to Switch.
It looks fun.
October 5th.
I think it looks fun. I'm excited for this one.
Fun too. Yeah. No, I mean, like, I think when that Mario Party game, the top 100, was announced for 3DS, I think all of us were kind of collectively like, I wish that was coming to Switch.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is coming to Switch. It's built from the ground up for the Switch, and that sounds great. I mean, the Switch is a super social party console, and you know, Mario Party is going to be a perfect fit on there. It looked like they are doing some like interesting stuff with the you know, tech and the hardware, and I'm totally on board. Like, hopefully it doesn't have any like weird, like, there's no like weird asterisks to it of like, oh, this game's super fun, except this part of the board game is like completely broken or whatever, which seems to be like the case with a lot of the recent Mario Party games. There's always like this, this is fun, but you know, it's actually not fun because of this. So hopefully like all that stuff is ironed out and it's a solid release, because Mario parties are fun when they're fun. And Switch is perfect hardware for it.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to doing that whole like drop 2 Switches down on a table, slide them together, and
that was cool.
You know, stuff like that. So
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna have some online play.
Mm-hmm.
Online play and leaderboards for some of the mini games. There's not full board game mode
Yeah.
online, which is kind of a bummer, but I mean, it definitely is a bummer. Like, it's not kind of, it definitely is. So that sucks, but still, it could be fun to, especially if, like, I don't know, if there are like a couple mini games that like really stand out and are like just super fun to play repeatedly, um, like that's cool. I'm totally down. So, moving on, Fire Emblem, the Three Houses, the first original Switch Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem proper, is coming in spring 2019. It looks to have some, I don't know, it's really hard to tell. It did seem to be like from the trailer, what it was implying to me is like, in comparison to the like 3DS releases, it seemed to imply like larger scale battles and some more like dynamic camera work and such. And that looks good. However, I was like a little bit caught off guard and kind of disappointed by how bland the environments looked. Like, they looked pretty unfinished, I guess. It was just like, here's some like gray dirt and like there's like 3 trees around. Like, it looked really, it was kind of jarring because like the characters and stuff looked good and there were like dynamic um camera angles happening, but I was a little disappointed in the just the general environments and that sort of thing here. I think the game will ultimately be fun, but I do hope that with it being pushed to 2019, not dropping this year as we had kind of hoped, I think hopefully that gives them some time to maybe spruce up the environments a little bit. Not that that's what's like most important in a Fire Emblem game. It's not, but it's nice to, when you're playing a game like this for dozens of hours, like it's nice to have some visual pizzazz, I guess. But otherwise, I'm very happy that Fire Emblem is coming to Switch. It's a bummer that it's 2019, but it's fine. It's something to look forward to. Let's see. So a surprise. This is available right now. Thing in the presentation was the announcement of Fortnite for Switch, and it was this was something that was kind of part of like the big leaks that had dropped a few days before E3, but it was pretty much all but confirmed, and it kind of seemed like a no-brainer because Fortnite is basically the biggest video game in existence right now. But it was still cool to get official confirmation that Fortnite was coming to Switch and that it was available free to download right then and there during the presentation. And I know my initial reaction as someone who had who didn't really know anything about Fortnite was somewhat dismissive. And I was like, oh, that's that game that the teens play, and good for the teens. And then I was like, well, it's free. I might as well download it. And now we are like 5 days out from the direct, and the only video game I've played is Fortnite on Switch, and I've played every day since it dropped, and I am completely in love with the game. So it's all I think about, all I talk about, and I get it. I get the appeal. And I really, really love this game, and it is like so perfect on Switch. Playing in handheld mode. I was watching NXT Takeover Chicago last night, and the entire time I was just playing Fortnite, and it was so good. Until the last match, actually. Then I had to stop because that last match got really intense.
I was gonna say I gotta watch the takeover this morning because I had stuff going on last night and couldn't watch it. But like, I don't think you should watch Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in a street fight, a Chicago street fight, while like only giving it half of your attention because you're playing Fortnite.
No,
like,
that's
insulting.
That match demanded my full attention.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah. But yeah, it was it's great.
Of course, I shouldn't talk because the event took place 80 miles from my house and I wasn't there. So
yeah, but you're going to Money in the Bank tonight.
I am going to Money in the Bank. Yes, I am.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. So I'll spend the rest of the day when we get done with this podcast picking out which wrestling shirt I want to wear to the show tonight, and getting ready to party.
Nice. I actually, speaking of wrestling shirts, I was at Denver Comic-Con yesterday, and I wore my Finn Balor for Everyone shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I got quite a few too sweets.
Nice.
Walking the show floor.
I bet you did. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, that's good. Cool. That's cool.
It caught me off guard at first, and because I wasn't really thinking about the shirt I was wearing after I was like out there, and then it clicked, and then as I'd get them, I would just throw that too sweet right back at them, just like a good brother.
You know what might seem too sweet and actually probably is too sweet to be true is well, the price is real, but WWE 2K18 is now $19.99 on the eShop as part of the E3 sale going on. So it seems like too sweet, but probably not really all that sweet because I think that game is probably awful on Switch.
Yeah. See, I think $20 is where I said fine. Like,
but you turned out to like not even like the game that much.
I didn't. Yeah, I bought it on Xbox One, and I didn't end up loving it. But it's so tempting to. I just want like a portable wrestling game though. Like, I wish Fire Pro was coming to Switch. Like, man, that needs to happen.
I know 2K19 is announced. I don't know if the platforms are announced, but one would hope that if it comes to Switch, it would be an actual like playable version of the game at this point.
But won't be a last minute rush job.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
Oh man. Okay. So Fortnite, I'm going to. I'm sure I'll be talking about it more in the future, but like as of right now, I highly recommend just download it. It's free. Your first few matches are probably going to suck. And then once you start to kind of develop your own strategies and figure things out, then it becomes a really incredible experience. And it's a different experience every time. There's so many just random factors that lead to just craziness. So yes, and also like my biggest pro tip, if you're playing Fortnite for the first time, if you're playing in battle royale mode and you die, you don't have to spectate the rest of the match. Just hold B, get back to the lobby, and jump right back in. That will improve your experience tenfold. So That was one of the available right now things during Nintendo's conference. Another was Hollow Knight, finally available on Switch as of the conference. This is a game that I know people were like really clamoring for on Switch. It's a super stylized like Metroidvania type game with some apparently some pretty good combat, and it's supposed to be pretty challenging, but it's got a great art style to it. And I know our friend Ian has been playing it and is really loving it. So seems cool.
Yeah.
So this is one that I think is exciting to you, John.
Mm-hmm.
Overcooked 2.
Yes. Okay, that is exciting to me. For some reason, you're jumping around a little bit, or maybe you
A little bit. I'm a little off the list.
Okay. I am actually interested in Overcooked 2. I played our friend Rich, and I think Dan has Overcooked also. So I've played Overcooked a couple times on Switch, but I don't have it.
I thought you were like super into it. I don't know.
Well, I like it, but like I haven't actually bought it. I just played it with friends when they brought their Switches over. So, but now that like the second one is coming out, maybe I'll just get that right away when it comes out and go from there. But no, I don't have the original Overcooked. But I've had some experience with it, and it's a really super fun game. So I mean, yeah, definitely cool. That the sequel is coming to Switch, and I don't know if the game was just announced completely and is already coming out on August 7th, but that's cool. So I think that is the case. But yeah, I was thinking you were going to bring up the Octopath Traveler demo that came out this week, and I haven't played it yet, but I'm excited about that. Apparently, it's just like the full game, but there's like a time limit, 3-hour time limit, I think.
Yeah.
But your data will transfer also to the game like when it actually comes out. So it's sort of like you can get a 3-hour head start on the game, and then I think it comes out early next month, middle of next month.
Yeah.
So I haven't really played any RPGs on the Switch, but I think I'm gonna have to do this. I really liked Bravely Default. Never got around to Bravely Second. But yeah. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm thinking like I'm going to just hang back and wait until like a day or two before Octopath Traveler drops, and then start the demo. Just to be like, I'm playing the game now. I mean, I'll get my copy in the mail, and I'll continue to play.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like if you know you're going to get the game, and I pretty much know I'm going to get the game, then like it doesn't really make sense to probably like play 3 hours of it like 3 weeks before you start the actual game. So
right.
Yeah, good call.
So that's coming. Very exciting. Dragon Ball Fighters is coming to Switch. That's the gorgeous 2D Dragon Ball fighting game from the Blade Blue Guilty Gear folks at Arc System Works. Apparently this game's super good. And I've heard from hands-on that it looks really good on the Switch and runs perfectly. So it seems like they've done a really nice job converting it to Switch. I've also heard that the game is really like casual fighting game player friendly. There are like layers of depth to it. And there is like a pro esports scene to the game, but it's also just like super fun just to like hang out and play with friends. But what I'm not super sure about is I didn't really read reviews or anything for the game. It's just like, just things I've heard, but I'm not really sure how like the single player content is, which would be like most important to me because I typically play fighting games single player because I don't really I'm not good enough at fighting games to play them online. but I'm and I also don't really have any like couch co-op players around, so yeah, it would have to. I'm super interested in this game. I like Dragon Ball, and I think it looks super gorgeous and fun. But I need to know, like, and especially with like a Switch version, there's always that. Is this exactly the same as the PS4 version? Did we drop some modes here and there? So I need to know like a little bit more about it. It would be nice if they like added modes. As maybe to account for the fact it's coming out a few months later than the other versions. So it would be cool if they added some stuff, especially because I think this is going to be like a full price $60 game. And I think you can get like the other versions for like $40 or $50 now. So it'd be cool if there was some sort of incentive to get it on Switch. But I don't know. So maybe.
Hashtag Goku in Smash.
We're not talking about Smash.
We are going to talk about Smash. Oh, we're not. Oh, we're not talking about Smash Brothers this episode. Oh,
nope.
Okay. Gotcha.
Nothing to say on the Smash Brothers front.
Well, I'm not buying Smash Brothers until it has Goku. So,
ooh,
I don't know what a Goku is, but I'm not getting Smash Brothers until it has Goku. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about Smash Brothers now. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Smash Brothers Ultimate. Is it Super Smash Brothers Ultimate? Yeah, Super. There is a Super there. Okay. Give us the lowdown. What's the deal with this game, John?
No. No, I'm kidding. I'm looking at our show notes or the Go Nintendo story that we're using in our show notes, and it's just like this giant like text blurb of like, this character has this specific change and this character has this specific change. And my head was kind of spinning during the direct a little bit, because like, I like Smash Brothers, you like Smash Brothers, but like I'm not such a huge Smash Brothers fan, or I'm not a high level player at all, where like these tiny little differences are really going to be, I think there'll be improvements that will make the game better for everybody. But as far as like all these little details, like it's cool. I don't know. It's cool. But like, to me, my takeaway from this direct was there's a new Smash Brothers coming. It's got every character that was ever in any other Smash Brothers game. It's got a ton of stages. They've made a lot of like quality of life improvements, or just like, gameplay improvements to the game too. But like, as far as the whole conversation about the game goes, or just like kind of like I said, like what I take away from it is it's going to be like everything you've ever loved in Smash Brothers, in sort of like the ultimate Smash Brothers package. It's the final culmination, or if not final culmination, it's the like to date ultimate culmination of like Smash Brothers. And it will hopefully be like the best Smash Brothers game, just in terms of everything is there. It's really refined. It's going to look beautiful. I think the game looks great from all the footage they've showed. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. It's going to be a really, really good, maybe, hopefully the best Smash Brothers game so far. But for somebody like me who, my interest in Smash, or I guess my understanding of Smash, and my ability in Smash and everything is sort of surface level, like that's what I take away from it. Now I think like real Smash players probably would watch that 25-minute or whatever segment about Smash Brothers and be like, oh my God, there was so much there. Whereas for me, it was like 25 minutes of like every character's in the game, and we've made the game better. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much my takeaway from it. So am I excited about it? Absolutely. Am I more excited about it than I was before the direct? Yeah, but not like super so, because I don't know, like it didn't show off any of the other modes that might be in the game. Like it didn't show off much. It really doesn't. It didn't show off that much new that would make me like really excited. It just showed like sort of like how the game is refined and how it has everything in it. And like, that's an exciting thing, but that's honestly not really like 25 minutes exciting for me. Like by the time the direct was over, I was like, yeah, like sign me up. But I could have probably watched like the 5-minute version of that and been just as excited about the game. That's kind of where I'm at with it, which I don't know. Yeah. I think it was an interesting thing to build the E3 presence around and the direct around, specifically the direct around, because it's such a huge franchise for them. People love Super Smash Brothers, and this looks like a really, really good Super Smash Brothers game. So in all those regards, it makes so much sense to build E3 around it, and it is their big game for this year. So you kind of have to build E3 around it. At the same time, like overall, I kind of walked away from that direct feeling a little like, all right, that direct was cool, but not really all that exciting. And I think a big part of it is like they devoted half of it to showing me all these like minute changes to Smash Brothers, which if you're not somebody who's super all in on Smash Brothers, that's not really going to be like the the most exciting climax to a Nintendo Direct. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know if you agree with all that or what, but that's kind of, I mean, where I'm at with it.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest takeaway from that segment is Marth's dancing blade is now faster.
Yeah, Olimar's helmet cracks and then fixes itself, which is cool.
Yeah. No, I think it was an interesting choice. I mean, again, like if you are a hardcore Smash fan, oh boy, this this was what you've always wanted from a Nintendo Direct. If you're just like a Nintendo fan, a Switch owner who wants to play a lot of games on their Switch, then, well, Marth's Dancing Blade is faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, it's cool. It's enjoyable. Like the way the information was presented was, it was well edited and, it kept you watching. And then the reveal of the two new characters, Daisy as an Echo character, which is something new to Smash, is cool. And then eventually, like the Ridley trailer was amazing. Like it was just that classic Smash character reveal trailer that was just so cool.
Can I tell you about my moment-to-moment experience with that Ridley trailer though? Because part of my thing is like they're showing like all of these little things like, oh my God, now Mega Man, when he does his final smash, you can see two other characters in the background. Like, okay, yeah, that's cool. But like really like it's not, I mean, it's just whatever, you know? So like 20 minutes of that. And then it's like, okay, to rewind slightly just for a second, just to be critical here for another second. Like they were doing this thing where it's like every character's in the game and then like laboriously going through every single one and showing the number that was with them and all that, and like going through, it's like 5 minutes of like this character's in it, this character's in it, this character's in it, every character. But like as they were listing them all off, I kept thinking like at the end of this list they're going to start listing off new characters too. Like it's not only every character's in it, but like these new characters are in it too. And when they didn't, I was kind of like, oh, okay, so we're really just like looking at like all the content that's in this game, but none of it's all that like surprising or anything. Again, if you're a deep like hardcore Smash guy then or girl, then like that is exciting. But for me, I kept waiting for the surprises and for like new things. And even if it was like goofy little mini games and side modes and stuff, I think that would have done a lot for me. But anyways, when we got to this Ridley reveal, a new fighter approaches or whatever they say, like I'm like, oh, okay, yes. And then there was like this like little moment where Ridley's tail like whipped out and I was like, oh, that's the vampire killer. Finally, it's Simon Belmont. He's in Smash Brothers. And then it was like Ridley and I was like, oh, Ridley's also very cool, but I'm not as excited as I would have been. And I know for most people, like Ridley was the one people have been asking for, like besides Goku, obviously Goku in Smash 2018, but like besides Goku, like Ridley's the one people have been asking for so long. So it is an exciting reveal, and I think that the reveal trailer was obviously really cool and really well done. But just me personally, I convinced myself for some reason. I think Nintendostradamus inadvertently, he didn't talk about this, but he talked about Castlevania and the Switch. I just kind of was thinking like, maybe Simon Belmont, they're going to do Castlevania on Switch. Maybe they'll do Simon Belmont in Smash Brothers, which I think would be great. But
yep. No to either of those.
Yeah. I've always wanted a Captain N like DLC pack for Smash Brothers, like Simon Belmont and Mother Brain and
Mega Man.
Yeah, Mega Man with the cool voice and all that stuff. I think it'd be fun. And Simon Belmont,
Yeah. That Simon Belmont?
Yes,
The
that Simon
Captain N
Belmont
version's the one you want?
Well, I would like, how you have like Breath of the Wild Link, and then you also have what's the other version of Link? Well, they're both Breath of the Wild, but they have two different outfits, right? As far as the main Link goes, both outfits are Breath of the Wild, right? I'm pretty sure. Yes,
maybe.
it is.
Who knows?
It is. It's the I forget the name of it it's like the more classic looking Link outfit, but it is the one that you can get in Breath of the Wild.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Otherwise, it's like his kind of like Breath of the Wild,
yeah.
Anyway, let's get Simon Belmont and Smash Brothers, and like the normal skin is just like a kind of normal Simon Belmont look, and then the other skin is a Captain N version of Simon Belmont.
Yeah, I don't feel like Nintendo really talks about Captain N these days.
They don't, and it's a shame because what a great part of their history.
For sure.
He could pull that little mirror out and do some kind of thing with it. That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I mean, I think when Smash Brothers comes out, it's going to be really fun, and I think it's going to be great. I think Switch is best possible platform for it. And there's so much content in there. I think it's gonna be really good. I think it will feel different enough from the Wii U and 3DS games. Just in terms of I'm not gonna feel like I'm playing like a I don't know, remixed edition of that exact game or something. I think it'll feel. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of similarities to that game for sure. But I feel like it'll just feel like a celebration of the series as a whole, and that's that I think is a better take on it than like an updated version of the game that came out last generation. I don't know. I'm really excited, but I feel like it was kind of a weirdly, there was so much emphasis on it in the direct that it kind of took away from the overall direct for me, I think. It was just I don't know. A lot of times when they have a game that's like really the focus of the direct, it still is not like literally half of it, especially with the E3 ones, And I just think this could have been a great Super Smash Brothers Direct, that was its own thing, versus we'll sort of give you a Nintendo E3 Direct, but not really, and then we'll stick a Smash Brothers Direct onto the back half of that,
Yeah.
Because doesn't it feel a little bit like we didn't really get a full on E3 Direct?
No,
or we presentation got or whatever.
5 announcements, 3 of them had already been leaked. One of them was something we already knew. There were no real surprises.
Yeah.
In it. And then and then just I think again, Smash Ultimate is it's insane that they're getting every character from the series in there. It's insane that Solid Snake is coming back. The amount of combinations and the amount of balancing and all of that it's going to take is just it's gonna be nuts. And we don't totally know how not all the characters are going to be unlocked from the start, so that I actually kind of like that. I like unlocking characters in fighting games, because that is that sort of single player element there, you're working towards something. So yeah, I'm excited for that, but I do I want to know about the single player modes. Is there going to be a subspace emissary? Emissary, yeah. For some reason that word made no sense in my head when I actually spoke it. It's what is an emissary? That's not even a thing. But yeah, is there going to be a cool single player mode to keep you coming back and wanting to play, so you unlock I love unlocking the trophies in Smash, the little, you know, the ones that you can like look at them all together. And I thought the Wii U game was like super good about that. The way you unlock them and could view them like as a group, or you could view them by franchise and stuff. Like that was what kept me putting in time to the Wii U version more so than, you know, playing competitively and like really learning characters and stuff. But yeah, like that's the stuff that I'm interested in, and I'm hoping, like I'm sure they're going to do like another. I mean, with Smash for Wii U, they did that amazing direct with the Smash announcer. Do you remember that?
No, not really.
Where like it was, you know, because the 3DS version came out first, and then, you know, then there was that like vibe of like, okay, well, this game's kind of already out. Why should we be excited for the Wii U version? And then they're like, here are 50 reasons why you should be
Oh yeah,
excited
yeah,
for the
yeah,
Wii
yeah,
U version.
yeah,
And it was
yeah.
the Smash announcer, and it was like, it was so fun. Um, yeah, I'm like, that will be cool. And I hope there is substantial, you know, periphery content in the game. I hope that it's not like, well, we put all these characters in, so you're just getting a fighting game. Like we can't fit any other modes, or we didn't take the time to add other modes and stuff, because you're getting every character. And you know, the way people play Smash is, you know, competitively, and this is like a competitive game, and like that's my big fear, where it's like, yeah, you just play Smash. Like, no, because I love all the extra stuff. Like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm hoping that the menus are set up a little bit better than the Wii U game, which was like going into menus inside menus inside menus to try to get to like anything you want to get to, for like the periphery content. But I hope there is still that focus on like, here's a bunch of like weird modes that you can use to like earn like random Nintendo history crap. And like, I hope you're able to like, I loved in the Wii U version how you could go through each stage and um, customize the frequency of the music that plays. You could like choose which songs play on each stage, and there were all these different versions. I hope we still have that. Yeah, so I'm like, they gave us a lot. I mean, they gave us too much information about Smash, but it's weird because like they didn't answer the questions that I have about Smash, like the stuff that's important to me. So, which is not like the like cooldown for Shulk's special up B or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, like I want to know about like these other modes and stuff. And you know, it like, worst case scenario, it's a bare bones fighting game, which is still going to be like a lot of fun, and will be fun to play like online and stuff. Like, but I really hope they bring over some of the extra stuff from, you know, the past games, and I hope it's good. So, um, yeah, I guess we'll see. But it's a whole lot of Smash.
Yeah.
Um,
I hope the fact that the E3 Direct and the E3, like I kept thinking day 2 and 3 of Treehouse Live, there was going to be announcements, and I mean there was one, you know, like
mhm.
kind of like basically the archive thing, which is cool. But I was thinking like, oh well, you know, maybe that Castlevania collection will get announced on Treehouse Live, or you know, like just something like that. I mean, just something little like that could have like really made E3 for me as far as Nintendo goes, you know.
Mhm.
So, but I guess what I was going to say too is I'm hoping that like since they didn't, it seems like there's a lot of stuff they didn't do at this E3 that maybe, you know, obviously we'll continue to get directs like throughout the year. We'll get a couple more, but hopefully
Mhm.
they'll kind of like um consistently and regularly have some small announcements and stuff that they can make that'll be, you know, stuff that I kind of would have expected in a big E3 direct blowout that they're instead going to save for August and, you know, September and whatever, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot.
Like we didn't learn anything about the online service, which I
Yep.
thought for sure we would, you know, and yeah, just I think there's a lot of stuff probably going on Switch this year that we still don't know about, which is fine, but not what I expected.
Yeah. I guess like, okay, so we can talk about the one last thing you briefly mentioned it that was announced, and it was announced during the Treehouse Live, and that was Arcade Archives Donkey Kong, which was available right then and there on Thursday, and Sky Skipper. So both of these are significant and important in their own ways. Arcade Archives Donkey Kong, which I have purchased and played some of, is for the most part a pretty fantastic port. There's a review for it on Nintendo World Report that I think is a really great read. That really goes deep into you know, the sport, the various modes that are available, and some of the stuff that is really great, and some of the things that are like weird choices and need to be kind of corrected with it. But overall, like, it's a really fantastic game that's still, like, Donkey Kong's still super playable, super compelling to play now. And now you have like online leaderboards and stuff, which is crazy and exciting. And you know, you're getting the proper version, arcade versions of the game, because there's multiple arcade versions on here. And it's really great.
Do the arcade is there a history of the Arcade Archives games getting like updates and stuff if there's
Yes.
issues or
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, yep, because the original Neo Geo ones were really really dark.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And they updated those. They've also updated some of those Neo Geo games, like Metal Slug 3, to have video recording.
Okay.
In them,
the 30-second or whatever.
Yeah. So so the games do get updated, and I think it seems like there's just some audio issues with Donkey Kong, which is the major sticking point right now, but that definitely can and should be updated. But
cool.
So that's really cool. And then the other game, which is one I actually am a little embarrassed to say I'm not familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
That is Sky Skipper, which was a 1981 Nintendo arcade game that had an extremely limited and unsuccessful release in Japan only, I think. I don't believe cabinets were ever released here in North America.
Right.
So that is like a very interesting piece of Nintendo history that was that's never, like, I've certainly never played it, and I'd never even like really seen it prior to this, and that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to play every Nintendo game, especially, you know, some of the lost stuff from this era. And it's you know, it is just really cool that Nintendo's both acknowledging these, you know, these parts of their history, but also, like, you know, having having Hamster give them the care that they deserve. And yeah, so I'm pretty stoked about that. I really wanna try the game when it does drop next month on the eShop.
Cool.
And that's basically it from Nintendo at E3. Kind of a weird year.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, not my favorite E3 as far as Nintendo stuff goes, or I guess in general. But I don't know. I guess to put it in perspective, like it's been a really great year for Switch, I think, and will continue to be. And so really E3 doesn't matter that much. It's just fun when, you get a bunch of like cool announcements, and, when you come out of E3 a little more excited. I'm not feeling super pumped coming out of E3 necessarily like about the announcements, but like going into E3, I was feeling like, wow, the first year and a half of Switch has been really great. And I think it's just going to keep getting better or continue to be great. And I still feel that way. So it's, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, and like last year's Nintendo presentation was really excellent and really exciting. And yeah, there weren't really any surprises this year. There was the mech game, but that was like pretty much it for like, and I guess Super Mario Party, but like it's hard to even consider that a surprise when it feels like an inevitability.
Right.
But man, there sure was a lot of stuff we didn't get that I was really kind of expecting. I think a lot of us felt that like Animal Crossing was almost a foregone conclusion, that we would be seeing an Animal Crossing for Switch there. That did not happen. The Star Fox Grand Prix, all signs pointed to that being something that would happen.
I assume it's still happening. I think they've just chosen not to reveal a lot of things at E3. Like Animal Crossing, I bet maybe that's like next summer or something, because I don't think it's coming out this holiday.
Yeah.
So, like it makes sense not to talk about it necessarily at this E3 if it doesn't come out until next summer, I guess. But I was just hoping for some like smaller things too, like, I don't know, like I've mentioned it before, but Wave Race or something like that coming back would be really fun, and not something that would be like a, I don't feel like they need 5 years to develop Wave Race for Switch or anything, and it doesn't have to be like this giant deal, but just like a few little surprises like that. I mean, I would have been excited if they announced like a Switch version of A Link Between Worlds or something, or I know some people had talked about like maybe the possibility of a Link's Awakening remake, or they didn't have the little things like that you would get excited about. Like last E3, it was like, well, Metroid 2 Samus Returns, like for 3DS. Okay, it's a big deal. On the other hand, it's like, I don't know, it's like a end of the 3DS life cycle, like remake of a Metroid game. It's like not that big of a deal, but just like having like little surprises like that stuff is fun and exciting. And either they've just decided to make fewer games for Switch now that it's a huge success, which doesn't seem like that's the case. It just seems like they felt like Switch is insanely popular right now. We've got the biggest game like ever basically in Super Smash Brothers, and we don't need to reveal a ton of stuff all in one big shot at E3, because we can just, kind of piecemeal reveal things throughout the year. And that'll make the rest of the year more fun, probably. Yeah. So that's cool. But I do hope stuff like that is coming. Like I want like, smaller games, remakes. I want stuff like they have a really successful console right now. Like let's have some stuff like Wave Race or, and I'm also kind of disappointed, to be honest here, TBH. I really went into E3, and this is me setting my expectations maybe unreasonably high or whatever, but I went into E3 thinking like, okay, last year, by the time E3 rolled around, Switch was a big hit, but that caught a lot of third parties by surprise. But this year we've had 15 months of it being a huge success, we're going to hear about stuff from Sega, and we're going to hear about stuff from Capcom, like, and Konami. And, you know, we're going to hear about, like, even if it's, like I said, you know, collections, like Capcom is there with the collection. So that's cool. Like, we heard about it before. I thought, like, in this E3 Direct, it'd be like, oh, and by the way, Disney Afternoon Collection is coming to Switch. I already own that game. It's not that big of a deal, but, like, it would be fun to hear about that kind of stuff. Or, like, we're going to bring back some old Castlevania games, or we're going to make a new Castlevania game, or, you know, like, I keep beating the same drum, but, like, can I get some kind of Super Monkey Ball something on Switch? You know what I mean? It's just been a long time, and it just seems like, what a great console for some Super Monkey Ball. And again, that does not seem like something that's like, well, yeah, but it's going to take us 4 years to make a new Super Monkey Ball. Like, you know, like, if it was coming out at the end of this year or even early next year, like, that kind of stuff would have gone a long way to making it just more fun to hear about, like, some little things that are just exciting. So, but yeah, I guess the start of that point was, I'm just surprised, like, we didn't get more third-party stuff like that. Like, hey, this is a big hit, so here's a new puzzle game you didn't know about, or here's you know, a collection of old games you didn't know about, or whatever. Like, I don't know. Again, like, Capcom, they deserve the credit, I guess, for the movie. We just got Mega Man and Super Street Fighter, and we're getting Mega Man X Collection coming out too. So they're doing their part. Although, give me Disney Afternoon Collection, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I mean, the Capcom's, like, I'm loving Capcom Switch support now. Like, Mega Man 11, like, the collections, all that, great. It does sting a little when Capcom also announces, like, 2 big and, like, amazing games in Devil May Cry 5 and Resident Evil 2 Remake that are like, yeah, those aren't coming to Switch. You're not getting those. Like, which, I mean, it makes sense, but it's like, oh, like those games look so good. And yeah, it's, I mean, but
you know what they could have done, though? They could have brought, like, Resident Evil Remake to Switch. I mean, it's on PS3 and stuff, or PS4 anyway, and like an HD version, and Switch could run that. Switch could run that. Yeah, exactly. That kind of stuff. Like, I'm just surprised we didn't get more. Just like, we're gonna start throwing stuff at Switch because people love the Switch. You know, like, announcements. That would have been great. So
yeah, I mean, I guess, like, there were, like, a few, like, little third-party things. I forgot to include it in the notes, but, like, during Bethesda's conference, they were like, Elder Scrolls Legends. The collectible card game is coming to Switch, and also Fallout Shelter is available right now on Switch. Like, those things are cool. Like, that's awesome.
Is that Fallout 76 game coming to Switch, or no?
No, it's not.
No. Okay.
But then yeah, like, I was also kind of hoping during the Bethesda thing that if they were like, Dishonored 2 is coming to Switch, or you know, Fallout 4 is coming to Switch, something like that would have been cool. But like you got, like, these smaller, like you were saying, like, these things that they can port, like, pretty quickly. But yeah, like, even from Nintendo, like, I was like, it would have been cool if they were like, oh yeah, the Luigi's Mansion remake for 3DS, it's also coming to Switch.
Yeah.
There's no reason that game needs to be just on 3DS.
Or Sega has Sega Ages, and we've heard about it a little bit, but we haven't seen that much. And, like, why not drop some Sega Ages stuff into the Direct? Or, hey, there's, like, the rumor that, like, Sonic, oh my God, what's the Dreamcast Sonic game?
Sonic Adventure?
Yeah, Sonic Adventure is one of the Sega Ages games, which maybe that's not...
I don't heard that rumor. No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah. Dreamcast. Yes, people are...
Okay.
Yeah, people are like, oh, Dreamcast is gonna be part of it too. Like, that
seems like that feels like it's more wishful thinking than, like, an actual rumor. I mean, I know, like,
investigate it. Nintenstradamus told me there was a whisper, and we know his track record is
not great right now. I'll be honest, it's not great.
All right, fair enough.
No,
look, anybody can misread the quatrains. It's not, you know.
It happens with sacred texts. Like, there's a lot of interpretations. He just got Super Monkey Ball confused with, like, weird mech game.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. but no, but like
all that Latin being thrown around.
Instead of 10 seconds of Mega Man 11, or not Mega, yeah, Mega Man 11. Instead of like 10 seconds of Mega Man 11, give me like 2 minutes of it, and then like show some Sega Ages stuff, and just like have a little more variety and a little more time spent on some of the stuff in that direct, and maybe do like how they used to do the roundtable thing, like a day or two after the big direct. Like they should have done. I almost feel like they could have just done like a separate like 20-minute Smash Brothers direct as like part of this direct. Like, hey, we're going to show you 10 minutes or 5 minutes of Smash Brothers in this direct, but also come back on Thursday and you can watch your crazy, like, here's how everybody's like, animation cycle is different by 3 frames, like video as a separate thing on Thursday or something. That would have been cool too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Nintendo wanted the conversation to be around Smash, like, which is a very Nintendo thing to do. Like, we want you to only be talking about this thing, which is probably why they revealed Pokemon Let's Go ahead of time, because they wanted those to be 2 separate conversations. And I mean, I guess like people are talking about Smash, so I think it was successful, but I think for the most part, from like casual Smash fans like ourselves and most of our friends, I think there is like a level of like disappointment, because we play other games besides Smash as well.
Yeah.
And we love lots of Nintendo things. And there's a lot of unanswered questions about the next few months of Switch. And, I think we will get those answers. And what's great about Nintendo is like a direct can just come out of nowhere at any time. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get like a direct in the next 2 months, and there's some of those smaller announcements for things coming out this year, some of those third-party announcements, a few ports, and then, I mean, eventually they're going to have to tell us like what else is happening with this online service. They said we're getting like 20 games or whatever. They've only announced 10. What other games are we getting?
And at some point they're going to have to, like, sorry to cut you off. At some point they're going to have to like look in the mirror and sort of be like, Fortnite did voice chat better than we did on our own platform. So, pay for the thing where you have to use the crazy app to do voice chat, even though this other game, which is free, does voice chat better than we do. So.
Yeah, but if you want to continue to play Fortnite on Switch, you are going to have to subscribe to the online service just to play it.
Right.
So that's going to be I don't know. I also think like Fortnite has been such an instant success on Switch. I mean, 2 million downloads in 24 hours is impressive. Especially for like a young console like the Switch. So I think, whether it was expected or unexpected, I mean, I think Switch did get another killer app for their online service. And, Smash Brothers will be like the other half of that, in addition to like the stuff that's already big online on Switch, like Mario Kart and Splatoon 2. But I think like they do have those. I think there are enough titles that are great to play online on Switch that I think a lot of people are going to be reluctantly maybe subscribing to the Nintendo Online service. But I think it's gonna have to be like a part of like Switch owners' lives at this point.
There's no question that I'm going to subscribe to it, but I'd like to be excited about doing so before I do it, versus like begrudgingly doing it. So, and I'm not even like begrudgingly doing it at this point. Like I am looking forward to it, but I'd like to know more, so, but
yeah, I'm straight up excited. Like,
but they could have made you more excited at E3 and they didn't,
That's I want those cloud saves. So bad. And those,
I
online
want you to
Nintendo
teach me
games.
like how to play Legend of Zelda like online, like with the controller hand
Yeah,
back and forth. You know, I think
that's
that'll be
totally
fun.
fine.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I've played it and beaten it and stuff, but I can't just like turn it on and master it the way you have. So
mm,
lead me through a second quest, Ryan. Okay.
yeah, I can do that.
All right.
I would love to, but yeah, I mean, I want more of those games. I want it all,
Yeah.
and anything less than everything is unacceptable.
I believe the line is anything less than the best is a felony, but
Mm.
all right, you came close. Check this out. Like these sunglasses, just to bring things full circle as we wrap up
Sure,
here.
sure.
These sunglasses, I feel like they look great, like straight on, you know?
Mhm.
Like when I turn my head sideways, it looks so creepy and weird. And I feel
That's
like,
terrifying.
especially with my
Yeah,
shaved head, like I look like Jason
yeah.
Voorhees wearing like
Oh my God.
it looks pretty creepy, don't you think?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. We should make a slasher film. Ugh, so
yeah,
scary.
yeah.
Cool. All right. On that note,
Mhm.
we are going to wrap up. Hopefully we can
Well, you should
record.
make this the cover art. Like
No.
you always find like a cool image of like some game we talked about, but instead you
Yeah,
could do,
the side of your head.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Freak.
held it for a long time so you can do like a good screen
Yeah,
grab.
I'm not.
You have a lot of
I'm
footage
not
to.
gonna come through
It's not
that
like you
yet.
have to go to like 1 second mark. You know, you can choose from like 20 seconds of footage
Okay.
of the.
Yeah, stop that now. Um, okay, so yeah, we haven't like really we didn't talk about like games that we've been playing in this episode. Which hopefully we can get another one recorded in the next week or so. I'm hoping,
Mhm.
because I know like we are both chomping at the bit to talk about Bloodstain: Curse of the Moon.
Where was Bloodstained at E3? Like
It
that could have been
was,
part of something.
yeah, it was there on the show floor, but it wasn't part of Nintendo's anything.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that.
It wasn't part of like any platform holders
Right.
conference, which is sad because I think that game's going to be really good, especially judging by how great
Curse of the
Curse of the
Moon.
Moon
Yeah.
was. So yeah, like I want to talk about that, like Mega Man Legacy Collection, Street Fighter Collection. I got both of those. I haven't played a ton of them, but I also have like so much to say about Fortnite. So yeah, we'll hopefully record something soon because also Mario Tennis Aces is coming in matter of days
Yeah.
now. So, and I think we'll be getting that. And are you planning on getting it?
I don't know. The demo was not the greatest experience of my life. I have to
Yeah,
say.
I didn't even play it because I saw on Twitter like people posting video recordings and gifs of the ball just like stopping mid.
See, I didn't have issues like that, but like
Card.
I didn't have issues like that, but like this is something we should just talk about in our next episode. But like
Mm,
all the super power moves and stuff, I felt like were hard to execute, and then like
mm,
I could execute them like in the tutorials and stuff, but then in the online mode, I felt like it was really hard to do. So I don't know if it's just because I suck or if there was like some kind of lag that made like, but I don't know. I wasn't like all those moves and stuff like kind of ruined the game for me, at least in the demo mode. I mean, I only played for like a half an hour, so maybe I need just more time to master that stuff. But I'd be like, you know, in an exchange with my opponent and doing okay, and then all of a sudden it'd be like either I would try to do one of those special things and just it wouldn't work, or they would like launch one of those things at me and I couldn't like. I don't know. It just didn't. But people are obviously like the people I played online, they knew how to do all that stuff. So it must work, and I just don't know how to do it or something. I don't know. But anyway,
yeah.
for a Mario sports game, it seemed shockingly complex and hard to master the gameplay elements of that game. So it's just like a big, you know, $48 is a lot to spend to find out like I actually hate like, you know, all these weird mechanics they put into it. So but I guess the good thing about a physical copy of the game is I could turn around and sell it, I guess, if it's not good. So
bummer. Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly like, again, kind of the theme of this episode. Like, I'm not really like caring about the competitive aspect, but I am, you know, excited for like the single player, the RPG mode, and
yeah.
all that. So we'll see.
Nintendo Fun Club podcast at gmail.com. That's where you can email us.
Yeah, for sure. Do that if you want. Yeah.
Nintendo Fun Club
podcast.com. Yeah, that's a place you can go.
My Twitter handle is Arcade Ghost.
Yup. I'm on Twitter at Brawn-Dwarf, BRAWNDWARF. So, like I said, hopefully we'll get another episode out in the next week or so. We shall see. But that's the hope. And yeah, E3's done. Now we eagerly wait for the next Nintendo Direct. Yay.
Catch you next time, Ryan.
No, I'm just ending it there.
Oh man, I wanted to turn my face sideways and go.
Nope.
It's from the Jason movies.
Yeah, the Jason movies.
The Jason movies.